Hey everyone, this is Tony Rod from Gem Rock Stone. I'm just going to continue with the Beatitudes in Matthew 5. Beatitudes run from verses 2 to 11, but I'm going to read the first 6 because I kind of see like a running theme, but you know, let's just see how it goes. Verse 2, Matthew 5. And he opened his mouth, Yeshua, Jesus, right? And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. So when I read it a few times before, and when I read the first couple of verses, I didn't even go all the way to verse 6 like I am now, but when I read it all the way through, when I read just a couple of verses, I noticed that first couple of verses, it seems like those who are blessed are the ones who are in need, right? Because God has an opportunity to provide, right? So Abba has an opportunity to provide. Okay, my dog is like, he's running in circles. Ah, my poor baby. I just took him out, and I guess he doesn't find his bed. If he comes back again, I'm gonna have. Wait, okay, just give me a minute, guys. All right, Papa, what's going on? What's going on, Gigi? What's going on, baby? Here's your bed. Here's your little bed. Now I eat, Papa. Don't you see it? There it is. There it is. All right, so he couldn't find his bed. I didn't mention that he's like really old, right, and blind. It's a small apartment, and the room is like tiny. So I don't know why he couldn't find his bed, but at any rate, I was able to help him. Kind of the running theme, right, for the first couple of verses in the Beatitudes. Okay, so verse 3 says, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus said, if you are poor in spirit, then the kingdom of heaven is for you. So being poor in spirit, I guess not being strong, I guess sometimes being weak, sometimes being afraid, even knowing the word, even knowing the promises, even having had experiences where God came through. There are times where we just become poor in spirit. And so the kingdom of heaven is us, because then, right, heaven comes down to us, right? Yeshua comes to our rescue, so to speak, to give us peace, to give us answer, just to help us get through whatever it is that we need to get through, for whatever reason, right? Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted, right? So for the times when we will mourn for losses, for ideas, for hopes, for dreams, for people, for those times that we do mourn these losses, Yeshua says, if you have this need, then you're blessed, because you're going to be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. So not the bold, not the audacious, but the meek. It's like, I kind of imagine, it's a running theme throughout the word, where Abba is, he's the groom, right? He's the gentleman, rescuing his people, being there as the valiant knight. And for those who are meek, not weak, but meek, just humble and just, not gonna be argumentative like oftentimes I am. And then Yeshua says that these kind of people will inherit the earth, so the Lord will be our defender, and he'll give things to us. We don't have to fight for it. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. So whenever we do hunger and thirst for righteousness, when we want to be better than we are, when we want to be the best that we can be, right? Then Yeshua promises that need, that thirst, that want, that desire will be satisfied. We'll get there. As long as we continue in this pursuit, we'll get there. It's the race that we run on a daily basis, right? And oftentimes, like yesterday I was driving and I had to get somewhere fast, and the traffic wasn't happening. It was just a lot of traffic. And as I was waiting to jump on the highway, it's like this big truck, not like an SUV, like a big one, was in front of me, and this guy, whoever the person was, they just lagged. They just didn't move. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. And then as soon as I said it, I was like, oh my Lord, I can't believe that's still in me. That's still in me, And I was laughing, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, God, and I was, of course, repenting. But it's funny how it's funny how righteousness is something that that we pursue, and even though we think, well, we're never going to attain it, but the promise here says that we will be satisfied. So it'll come a day where, although we've made small little strides throughout our lives, but it'll come a day where that's not going to be an issue. That's going to be conquered. That's going to be no longer part of our personality or character or important. And it won't hold us, it won't have a stronghold over us. So anyway, I don't want to make this too long. Just wanted to say that, that's what I see. That in the first, verse 3, 4, 5, and 6, it appears to me that in order for Yeshua, in order for the Lord to kind of step in and just take over and just get things done for us, we just have to be that type of person, right? That type of person who at times have our poor in spirit, because then he'll fill us with his presence. And whenever we would do more, we will have opportunities to more in this earth. He promises that he will be there to comfort us, and when as we practice meekness, that we don't have to fight for things, right? Because God is our great defender, and he's going to give it to us. We'll inherit things. Not because we fought for it, or we were smart, or we outsmarted anyone for it. It's because he gave it to us, because he owns everything. Everything belongs to him anyway. And then, in those moments when we hunger and thirst, when we really, really strive to be righteous, in him, not in our own strength, because that doesn't work and that doesn't exist. But as we strive to be righteous, although we do not see a change right away, but Yeshua says here that we will be satisfied. I mean, it will erase, it will leave our characters, our personality, whatever that stronghold is, because we have made strides throughout our lives, for that not to rule us. So it's a total dependency on God. I mean, it's just what it is. You know, as Americans, we're just taught to be very independent and very strong, you know, and, you know, to have our opinions, and at the same time to, you know, to appease other opinions, etc. You know, but the word is very clear. The Lord wants us to be dependent on Him. The word wants us to be, you know, branches plugged into the vine, which is Him, right? I mean, it is total dependency in the Lord. It is waiting on Him. It is waiting for Him to be that gentleman who opens up the way for us, instead of us trying to just walk right in our own strength. I mean, it is these type people where God can manifest His power, His glory, His goodness, His kindness, His loving, and give it all to us, because it's not like He needs it. You know, it's not like He needs it, but He does gain pleasure in seeing us rejoice and comforted and having the things that we want, and totally depending on Him. I mean, I've gone through a season where I know that to be true. Total dependence on God has given me more than I could have ever attained in my own strength. All right, everyone. Jen Rockstone. Talk to you soon.